Hello aspirants. Welcome to another lecture of the Criminology series being presented by CSS To The Point. In this video we will cover the definition, concepts, forms and scope of criminology. Okay, let's start this lecture by understanding the meaning of the word criminology. The word criminology is basically a combination of two words including crimean, from Latin which means accusation, and logos from ancient Greek, which means to study. So criminology is study of crime and deviant behavior. But what does deviant mean? It means untypical, a person who goes rogue, departing from usual or accepted standards, especially in social behavior. A deviant is a person who doesn't conform to the moral and societal values. So we can say that criminology is concerned with the conduct of individuals, who perform acts that prohibited by the society and law. It is a sociological study which seeks to discover the causes of criminality and suggest appropriate remedies. So, from the meaning of the word criminology, it is clear that this subject is focused on study of different aspects of criminology. Now that we know what criminology means, let's move on to the definition of criminology. Criminology basically referred the entire body of knowledge regarding the causes and prevention of crime and also the punishment. According to Edwin Sutherland, criminology is the study of entire body of knowledge regarding crime as a social phenomenon. It includes within its scope the process of making laws, sociology of law, of breaking laws, criminal etiology, and of reacting towards the breaking of laws, penology. In etiology we study the causes of crime, and in penology we study society's response to crime, and it also includes the study of criminal justice system. Criminology refers to the scientific study of crimes, criminals and victims. It also deals with prevention and solution of crimes. In the mid-18th century, criminology arose as social philosophers gave thought to crime and concepts of law. Basically, during 18th century the criminal justice system of Europe was flawed. People often got more punishment than they deserved. Oftentimes a person who had stolen something invaluable was sentenced to death. The word criminology was first coined in 1885 by Italian professor Raffaele Garofalo as criminologia. Later French anthropologist Paul Topinard used the analogous French term criminology. Now, one may ask, who are criminologists? So, criminologists are the people working in researching the study of crime and society's response to crime. Some criminologists examine behavioral patterns of possible criminals. Generally, criminologists conduct research and investigations, developing theories and analyzing empirical patterns. Let's move on to the next concept, which is crime. Crime is an act that is punishable by the law. Crime is originated from Latin word, crimen, meaning, to change, and the Greek expression krimos mean, social order. In simple words, acts that go against social order and are worthy of serious condemnation are considered as crime. James Stephen defines crime as acts forbidden by law and revolting to the moral sentiments of the society. Now let's discuss the concepts of crime. A crime cannot be committed unless the act violates the law. Many legal systems take into account the mental state of accused person at the time the alleged crime was committed. Which means that if a person who is accused of a crime but is mentally ill will not receive the same punishment as would a normal person. The crime triangle identifies three factors that create a criminal offense. 1. Desire of a criminal to commit a crime. 2. Target of the criminal's desire. And 3. The opportunity for the crime to be committed. Modern technology has brought a lot of changes in the way people live. Societies are constantly evolving and changing with social values, beliefs and norms, so criminology is dynamic. Concept of crime is always dependent on public. Crimes are defined by the society and culture and the era one lives in. Examples include selling drugs, poppy production banned in some countries completely while not in others, breaching violation of traffic rules, jaywalking. In developed countries people driving vehicles reduces their speed when they see schools ahead sign. Drinking alcohol is legal in some countries. Definitions of crime and criminal. A gross violation of law or a grave offense especially against morality. Such violations which endangers the society of individuals, their liberty and property are considered as crimes. Crime is what society says is crime, by establishing that enacted violation of law, Terence Morris. Disobedience or violation of law may be considered as crime. E.g. one wheeling might seem as an independent act but could become fatal for others too. An illegal act for which someone can be punished especially by the government. Crime analysts are required by law enforcement agencies to do forensic work, solve crimes and develop strategies to tackle future crimes, e.g. forensic experts and labs. Examples of crime: robbery, rape, theft, murder, etc. A criminal is a person who has committed a crime. An individual who has been found guilty of the commission of conduct that causes social harm and that is punishable by law. A person who has committed a crime. Let's move on to our next concept: criminology and criminality. Criminology is the branch of social sciences that deals with the scientific study of crime, causes of crime, frequency of crime, responses of law enforcement and methods of prevention. Subgroup of sociology. The term criminality is often used in criminology to actual criminal characteristics of a person, past records of criminal person. Criminality is the state of quality of being a criminal. Merriam-Webber. Felonies and demeanors. Felonies are the most serious classification of crimes, punishable by incarceration of more than a year and in some cases life imprisonment without parole and even capital punishment. The term incarceration means the state of being confined in prison, while the term parole means the temporary or permanent release of a prisoner before expiry of a sentence, that is, if someone was sentenced for 10 years, then he might be released earlier on the promise of good behavior. Both property and personal crimes can be felonies. For example, murder, rape, kidnapping, grand theft, robbery, white-collar crimes, fraud schemes are all felonies. Let's understand the next concept called deviance. An action that violates social norms, including a formally enacted rules, for example crime, as well as informal violations of social norms, for example rejecting folkways and mores. So we can say that behaviors that violate social norms are called deviant behaviors. Crime and deviance. A crime is committed when a person has a desire to commit a crime and he has the ability to commit that crime and he gets an opportunity to commit a crime. Now let's understand how crime is different from deviance. We know that crime is violation of social laws and legal code, whereas deviance is differing the norms, values or deviation from accepted standards of society. For example, breaching of traffic signals will lead to fine. In same way, speeding on roads is a deviant behavior but is not a crime, so we can say that while some crimes can be deviant, but there are deviant behaviors that are not crime. We have already established the fact in previous lecture that crime is a socially constructed phenomenon as it is transmitted through our environment, through our social learnings and interaction. Each society or culture creates rules of behavior by which its members are controlled and governed. Misdemeanors. The lesser intense form of felony is called misdemeanor. Difference between misdemeanor and felonies lies in the intensity and seriousness of the crime. Maximum sentence for demeanors is 12 months or less and could include fines, probation, community service etc. For example, slapping someone or battery could lead to an imprisonment for 30 days, assault, unlawful possession of weapon, public drunkenness are all misdemeanors. Infractions. Infractions, sometimes called violations, are petty offenses that are typically punishable by law, by fines but not jail. For example, breaching of traffic signs, disturbing the peace with loud music or other means, drinking in public, building permits. A person can only be punished if he/she violates written law, social norms and values, has no legal standings.